Welcome to the painting studio. My name is Ryan Fox, and today what I want to talk to you about are the Daniel Smith separating colors. Now this is not an official line, but these colors are designed to put on a piece of paper, and then when you hit it with water, they separate and they do some very, very beautiful, amazing effects. That's what I want to show you today. The things I love about these colors is they do amazing effects. I love them, and for once they're finally cheap colors. Like usually I fall in love with like the cobalt teals, which are Series 4, Series 5 paints. I think most of these guys are Series 1 paints, Series 2 paints. So they don't cost you an arm and a leg to get them. What I want to do is I want to show you an example of what happens with Shadow Violet. So I'm mixing up Shadow Violet on my palette right now. I'm going to put it down on my piece of paper. And this color looks super dark on the palette when you put it down. But it actually, or it looks super dark on your palette, but when you put it down on the paper, it's actually kind of hard to get it really dark, which is kind of surprising because it looks so dark on the palette. So if you put this down here, it's like kind of just a mid to light value color. It doesn't look like much, but if you look on the, get real close to this and start looking at it, you can kind of start to see how the red and the viridian separate. Or I think it's the orange and the viridian. I always get mixed up which one this is. Moonglow and Shadow Violet have two of the same three colors. And I don't know if this is true or not, but somebody said that Shadow Violet was a mistake and somebody switched the wrong color in the lab. And that's how Moonglow was made. I have no idea if that's true. I just read this on the internet, so we'll see if that is actually correct or not. And then as it starts to slowly dry, what I'm gonna do, what I'm looking for right now is the wetness on the paper. So you can see this is still wet, which means I can still separate it. Once it's dry, of course, you can't really do anything with it. But as long as it's not a solid puddle, like a huge puddle. So what I'm doing now is I'm getting some clean water. I'm gonna come back into here and I'm gonna take the clean water and drop it on here. Now this, of course, is how you create water blossoms, by putting water into something that's already wet. And then the hardest thing is you can't mess with it too much. You just kind of have to let that sit and just do its thing. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go read a book or check the internet or something, and then I'm gonna come back in like 5 minutes and take a look and see what happened here. But you can already see what's happening is the red is being pushed aside. The green and the blue have kind of soaked into the paper already, and the other color is being pushed aside. This color is really unique because again, it's three colors in a tube. And you can kind of control what happens with the orange or the red that sits on top. And this is Shadow Violet, so it is the, oh, what color is that? It's actually Pyro Orange. So the Pyro Orange is the last one that soaks into the paper. So you could come back in 5 minutes and hit this again and have the red even separate more on top of this. Now if we come back to this after a couple minutes, you can see that if I put it into the light, the paper is still wet. That's one of the advantages of working on good paint, because it does stay wet for a long time. I come back into here now and I come across this the other direction with some clean water, and the idea is not to scrub and lift the color off, but just to drop water on top of that. We're getting even further separation now with the different colors. Now I'd like to show you some examples of paintings I've done using these colors. Here's a mountain line I did with Cascade Green, and then I put some blue on top of that after the separation. This is the Ponte Vecchio in Florence using nothing but Undersea Green. And then the next couple paintings that I did was mostly Undersea Green. Lots of water, lots of blossoms. You don't see this effect until, again, 20 minutes later. And then I painted the orange and the rest of the greens back into the frogs here. I like how these guys turned out. Here's a painting I did with Shadow Violet, lots of separation, then I threw a bunch of white paint on top of that, Jackson Pollock style. And the last painting of a whale here is a combination of Rose of Ultramarine and Undersea Green, which work really, really well together. Well, thank you very much for watching this video today. I hope this gives you some new ideas with the Daniel Smith separating colors. I've loved adding these colors to my palette. I'd love to see what you get from these guys. If you get some beautiful effects from them, please send me some pictures. I'll post them online. Thank you so much again. My name is Ryan Fox. You can check out more of my work at ryanfoxpainting.com, which is my shop, or rfoxphoto.com. Thank you very much, and happy painting.